Welcome to the Spirits, Angels, and Guides Oh My podcast.
Where the supernatural gets real, baby.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Spirits, Angels, and Guides Oh My. I'm Nancy Christine Brady, and I am here with the lovely and talented Tara Diana.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. So, Tara, I want to talk about dreams today.
Okay.
Okay. And I want to start by asking something that I know a lot of people listening have experienced. Have you ever woken up from a dream and just laid there thinking, yeah, that wasn't a dream? Like, not dramatic, not symbolic, but it was just different.
Oh, okay, that's an interesting way to put it. So, like that feeling where you're not confused, you're actually very clear, but you don't have necessarily the right language for it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it usually happens when people are brushing it off or they go straight into doubt mode.
Or better yet, they Google it because Google is our friend, kinda, um, and end up like ultimately being more confused than they started because there's like 950,000 different reputations of what the dream could mean.
Dream analysis, all that stuff, right?
Hmm.
And so today what I really want to talk about is the difference between dreams that are symbolic, which also have value, like our subconscious unpacks a ton of stuff,
Yeah.
but dreams that are something entirely different. I want to talk about dream visitations, like
Okay.
astral encounters, like actual spirit contact.
Okay. Okay. That's right up my realm.
Okay.
And I think it's important to say right away though, not every dream is a message. Okay. So, um, lots of people will send me, DMs and whatnot. And sorry if I don't get back to everyone, but what does this mean? Like, should I be?
Mhm.
But if not every dream is a message, some really, really are.
Yeah. And they don't all live in the same category, right?
Right.
So one of the biggest issues I see is that we all treat dreams like they're the same thing. So we just say, "Oh, I had a dream," and that's sort of the end of the conversation. Or they deep dive to all the over dream analysis sites, right?
I just had an ABBA song in my head. I had, never mind. Um, but okay, that's totally, totally true. They're not the same at all. Some are
Mhm.
emotional processing, let's just be honest, right? Our
Yeah.
mind is like a crazy, crazy thing up there that we hardly use, obviously. Some are your nervous system, cleaning house, like get rid of this stuff. But some are symbolic stories for sure, for sure.
And then there's the dreams that feel like you've been visited.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the ones that don't feel like your mind created them. They feel like real, real.
Yes, yes. And spirit loves the dream state because there's no performance there. You're not trying to receive, you're not second guessing. Your ego is offline. Like you're most lucid to actually receive a visitation.
Which is like literally why a lot of people who say I don't get messages are actually getting them all the time just while they're asleep because the consciousness, right? Your subconscious receives them because your conscious isn't in the way. The conscious is a pain in the ass half the time. Let's be honest and for real here. So when you're asleep, you're kind of letting go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to share something I've seen over and over in work that I've done with my clients where someone loses a loved one, months go by, they have a dream about them, and it's not emotional, it's not chaotic, it's not symbolic,
Okay. That's usually the part that throws people off because grief dreams are emotional.
right? But these ones aren't emotional. It's where the loved one is showing up as they were in life, same presence, same personality, same way of speaking, and they say something specific, often the dreamer wouldn't come up with on their own.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right. Something that would be very them. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? And people always
Yeah.
say the same thing afterwards. I didn't wake up crying. I woke up calm.
And that, Tara, for me is the tell. That's that, symbolic dreams stir you up, visitations settle you. Like there's a sense of calm that comes over you because you feel like you're sitting there having that coffee with them or whatever. There's no urgency, no, what did this mean spiral? It's just, okay, that happened. So, Tara, have you ever had dreams where you've been contacted or visited by loved ones?
Oh, okay. So when I was, when we started talking about doing this episode, I had to do some thinking because I don't actually remember. I would say 95% of my dreams. I know I've had certain dreams about certain things. So, for example, I had a really awful dream about some people I was very close to passing away. It felt so real. I called one of the people to see if they were a-okay, and they were. Um, and I've had reoccurring dreams when I was little, right up until after I had the kids, of like Dracula. I'm not kidding you, Frankenstein, and
Really?
yeah, and chasing me down my grandparents' hill. They lived on a hill in Vancouver, and chasing me down the hill. But I don't get spirit contact in my dreams that I can remember, which to me, being a medium, would mean that I do not connect to spirits in my dreams that way.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a bizarre thing, when people, I because I say all the time, what, they're dreaming, they've come to you, etc., etc. I just don't get dreams like that,
Mm.
and I tend to remember them in the morning. My husband can dream like a mofo. He will have the most realistic dreams and be able to tell you the whole thing. Like you could be sitting there for 20 minutes going, "Oh my god," and he's telling you like this whole dream. He can do that. I just don't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I'm the same as your hubby. I definitely have had a lot of spirit communication in my dreams, and it's like we were talking about where it has felt so real.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. Um, there was a lot of stuff happening in my life at one point, and a lot of change, and I had basically my I had, as some of the listeners might know, I volunteered for years with a parrot rescue, and I had one parrot, unfortunately, and he died of cancer. He had cancer in his eye, and my husband and I were just starting up a company, and the very first day of the grand opening, I got a phone call that my brother had died.
Oh.
And I'm telling you guys all the history because it makes sense when I tell you about the dream. And my brother unfortunately had a brain aneurysm, so he passed fairly quickly in his sleep. And so I didn't have time necessarily to grieve the parrot being put down. And then a few days later, my brother unfortunately passing because we were starting a company. It was the grand opening. So I went back for his funeral in
Yeah.
Saskatchewan, and I still hadn't properly grieved. And when I got back, I went through like 3 days of like ridiculous crying. I couldn't stop. I was like, kind of can't catch your breath kind of crying. Like it was like my body went, nope, you're going to grieve now. And I remember like for 3 days crying myself to sleep. And one night I woke up and I had this overwhelming, like I woke up, but it was in my head, like when I was dreaming.
Yeah.
And I was kind of standing in a room and I had this overwhelming feeling of love. And I was like, what is this? And there was my brother walking over to me, and my parrot flew to him and landed on his shoulder. And he said, it's okay, kiddo. We're all together. You can move on now. I got him. You're okay. And it was
Aw.
the most incredible feeling. I felt so much love, and he had a dog on either side of him, and the one dog I knew was his dog Gizmo, but this other black lab I didn't know who it was, and I called my sister the next day. And I'm like, I saw Doug last night. I saw our brother. And I said, I don't know who the other dog was, and she knew the dog's name right away. But
Oh.
it was such an incredible feeling of peace, just knowing that he was there with all the animals, he was looking after them till we're together, and it was basically like, you got a lot to do. You can move on now. And I woke up, I was done this heavy grieving, much to my husband's happiness because he didn't know what to do with me
For
for
sure.
3 days. Um, but it was probably one of the most beautiful visitations, and I could smell his cologne, and I just like it just felt like we were standing in the room together.
That's
It was
cool
just
though.
lovely. Yeah,
You know, a lot of
yeah,
people think that I get a lot of messages from Ryan, right? From my son that's passed over. So they think I get a lot of message. And you're talking about this, and the only real, I know I've dreamt about him 3 or 4 times, but the only one I remember is the one where I went into his room, I opened his door, and he and Noella were laying in bed. And I was like, what the fluff? I'm like,
yeah,
what are you doing? What's going on? And I remember she got up and she's like, "Oh, you need the um, paper. It's on top of his counter." And so he walked over to his book, and but I'm staring at Ryan, and I'm like, "Oh my God, you're here!" It, and there was a lot more to it. Like I told him, I was like, "Well, you can't do this anymore, and you can't do that anymore." And I had this whole list of things, but and then when I came out of the room, I was telling people that I was at a costume party now in my living room, and someone who I haven't thought of in years had this mustache. Anyway, it was a long funny story, but I was so emotionally wrecked with that one though. When I woke up,
yeah,
I was like, "Oh, you're here, you're alive, you're
yeah,
oh my good." Even now talking about it, I can feel all verklempt. Right?
yeah.
It I don't know if that was a good dream. I don't feel like that was a super good dream, to be honest with you. I mean, you can hear it in my voice, even talking about it now.
Yeah.
It makes me, I have the feels over it. So, that kind of dream, I don't know if that's symbolic of what I really want, or
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, I don't, and I didn't try to read, I'm not the medium that's going to try to read everything into everything. I just am not that person, babies. Don't call me if you want me to interpret your dream. Um, but yeah, that is something. Oh, look, I got a tear. Um, that is something that I
See, to
remember.
me, that would be more your subconscious processing the loss of him. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I mean that's not a spirit contact at all. That to me was absolutely not a spirit contact.
Where, and we've had another episode of this where, you and I have been together and we've seen so many signs and symbols from him. We see
Oh,
the 10
absolutely. Yeah.
everywhere, right?
Oh, absolutely. I just don't feel that the dreams are it for me,
Yeah.
right? They just aren't it.
And it's not for everyone, right? And it's not something that everyone's going to to experience, right?
Yeah.
But I would say that it would be more about that would be more symbolic and the subconscious processing stuff. And for everyone, because I know the biggest thing when I have people come to me for readings and they say, I just want to see them one more time.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
just want to, and how can I see them in my dreams? How can I do this? And I don't think it's something that you can, I don't want to say conjure up, but I can't think of another way to
Yeah.
describe it.
You can't force
You can,
it,
yeah, you can just invite them, right?
right?
You
So
can just invite.
in that note, like symbolic dreams versus spirit contact.
Hmm.
I think it helps to really simplify this for people.
Yeah,
Again, we are people as a humans as a species are overthinkers for sure, and we only use like 9% of our brain. So there you go. But I think it does help to really simplify this. Symbolic dreams tend to feel emotional,
hmm,
personal,
yeah,
use metaphor,
yeah,
and likely need interpretation.
right. Whereas like spirit contact dreams don't ask you to decode them. They're just clear, they're calm,
Mhm.
and they feel complete. Like with my brother, I had such a incredible feeling of completion.
That makes sense. That makes absolute sense, right? It was like, okay, here's some closure. And closure is a tricky
Yeah,
word, but here's some closure. Because
yeah,
spirit doesn't plead its case. You know,
no,
it's like, yeah.
no, 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 spirit doesn't say, please believe me. If you wake up thinking, what was that supposed to mean? That's probably a symbolic dream.
Yeah, I
If
would
you
agree
wake
with
up,
that.
right? And whereas if you wake up thinking, noted, that was something else. I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
agree with
definitely
that, like for sure. Right? And that's why I said that dream, which is the only dream of Ryan that I can remember. Maybe it's just right now, but that's the only one that came to mind. All the stuff
Mhm.
that really mattered to me is what you said. It's the ones when, the bear showed up, the real bear in real time, showed up,
Yes.
or that guy wearing the number 10 when he's walking past me and all of a sudden he plays this really loud music, so I turn and look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that's the stuff.
Yes. So let's switch this up a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about astral experiences as well without making it too weird or woo woo.
Woo! I have a funny story, Nan, about the man that he was kind of a stalker, unfortunately, and
Oh.
one day he showed up at a place I was reading at, and he was like, "Yep, I'm going to become a detective," and I was like, "Okay, cool, no judgment there," and he's like, "And I'm going to do it all through astral traveling."
Oh, oh.
I was like, okay, okay. And you know what? Someone may be listening to this and go, well, you never know. Well, you're right. You never know. I
Yeah.
knew that the next time he called me was from a number of a facility where you get help. I don't know why
Oh.
I'm chuckling because it's not really funny, but at the same time, I was so stunned when he was like, I'm going to do it all by astral traveling. I'm going to be a private eye. And I thought, sweet goddess, that's a
You know,
lot.
that would actually make for a really good fictional novel.
That
You
would,
and I should
wouldn't
write,
it?
yeah, we should write a book about that, not to diminish this poor man's mental health or anything like that, but
Oh,
um
that's kind of a
also
cool story for
it
sure.
would be a cool story, and but stalking is also very terrifying. That's
Yeah, that
crazy.
was creepy, 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 and that's another story for another day. Maybe a bonus
Okay.
episode in the Spirit
Yeah,
Lounge.
there we go. Okay, well, let's talk about astral experiences because people either romanticize them or fear them,
Yeah, there's rarely a middle ground for this.
right? Yeah, and it's kind of like astral encounters aren't about floating around randomly. Let's just say that. Like I've done a bit of astral traveling myself. When I was like 18, I used to do it a lot. And it was kind of cool because it was almost like you could have actually called it remote viewing, which we should do an episode on, but I remember astral traveling and seeing where my friend was sitting on a couch with his girlfriend and reiterating exactly the blanket that was on the back of the couch, what they were wearing, and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
But anyways, so there's yeah, we'll have to do more on that one day. But there's astral traveling is really about awareness shifting location, which could be remote viewing as well.
yeah.
Like what was that movie, Men That Run with Goats or something? I forget. George Clooney was in it.
Men
Anyways,
that run with ghosts sounds like my kind of
men
movie.
I don't know, right? But anyways, they were about doing sort of remote viewing and that sort of thing. So, anyways, the biggest markers are that you remember moving, and that's the coolest part about astral travel.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
remember choosing,
yeah,
right? You remember returning
yeah.
to your body after you've traveled.
Because that sensation of coming back into the body, that's like settling. It's
Yes.
different than like when you suddenly wake up because you feel like you're falling out of the bed, right?
Yeah.
Not that kind of
Yeah.
sensation. It is literally a moving back into the space, like you just like, like you landed.
Yeah, like you're dropping back in,
Yeah,
kind of,
not
right?
like you're dropping
And
off a cliff.
exactly. I've done that in dreams too. But honestly, most people experience this aren't reckless energetically. Like they're actually intentionally setting to do the work.
Hmm.
They're very grounded. It's really
Yeah.
important that a person tethers before you do it and all of those things. And um, it doesn't send beginners wandering the astral plane either. Like that's kind of a misnomer, I think.
Well,
Right?
we talk about setting intentions. There's a couple things I want to say about astral traveling. I don't do it as much as I used to anymore, because
Yeah.
I just really don't need to astral travel. But when the kids were little, my husband and I's bedroom is downstairs, and their bedrooms are upstairs. And when they would start crying, I would literally move myself up there. I was not getting out of bed. Take it for what it is, and I would see what kind of cry that was. I would
Yeah.
literally be hovering over, and I'd be like, almost like if they woke up and, saw a spirit. And I'd be like, no, they're fine. Oh, gotta get up there. It was the
Yeah.
coolest thing, and people didn't believe me for love or money. They looked at me like I was like cray cray, and I didn't give a crap because it worked. It worked, and if I could close back my eyes and go to sleep, I was gonna.
They probably felt your presence though with you traveling and calmed down too a
Oh
lot of
yeah, for
times.
sure. It was cool. It was cool. And I used to, I mean, she's still my really good friend. I used to go and meet her in different realms. There's stuff that you can do that people would be like, "Oh, now she's talking out her butt." But you don't know until you don't
Yeah.
know.
I know. I feel like there's so much content for astral traveling that needs to be its own episode. But like, I did want to touch on it because I know I've had clients who have kind of confused the two between dreaming and between astral travel.
Yep. Yeah, and for sure. And some people don't even need to know what they're doing. Like, can I just be honest with you? Not every
Yeah.
person needs to like uh, have every single thing defined for them, right? Sometimes it's just better not knowing. You're just doing the do. If you think that's a dream, then hey, baby, all the power to you. Usually, you need to know when you need to know. Like
Yeah.
your mind's like, I need some more knowledge on this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so
Yeah. And- Go
we
ahead.
can talk now about why spirit uses dreams so often, except for with me.
Okay.
Spirit, in my personal opinion, spirit uses dreams because the time works differently there. And again, the conscious versus subconscious is a big thing.
Yes. Yes. Well, and you often hear 3 o'clock, the witching hour, right?
Yep.
When the veil is within us for people to talk to us in our dreams. It's also a place where language isn't required. Our fear is quieter, so like our nervous system is softer. We're not going to be like, "Whoa, what's that?" Right?
Right? Again, the
We're
consciousness.
Yeah, we're way more open to it.
But discernment still matters, of course. We can't disregard that.
Absolutely. Not everything that shows up is meant to engage with you. Dreams aren't really an open door policy, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's a good way to put it. Like you can't just be like, "Hey, come on in, friends." No one needs that. I set up boundaries actually. The my neighbor who's been here living beside me longer than I've been living here. She's a hospice nurse, and so I put up
Oh,
boundaries because they were coming every time someone was about to pass over. Instead of going visiting Leah, because I guess she wasn't conscious enough for it, they would come over and be like, "Hey, we're
yeah.
crossing now. Say goodbye." I'd be like immediately no. So you have to know your boundaries. That's the only time spirits would come through to me, and I actually don't think that's dream work. I actually think that is more about crossing over, right? They haven't crossed
Yeah.
over yet, so that to me. So anyway, carry on.
No, but I feel that's really important that you mention that because I'm the same way. Like no one is when I go to bed, my room is my inner sanctum and I block it, set boundaries around my room. The only person who's really allowed in now is my master spirit guide and my husband obviously. But the only
Hell
time
no.
but you're right, like cuz when you're opening up or when you're a medium and you're already open, spirit will try to knock on the door and talk to you in your dreams. And so I was getting the same as you, so many visitations. I needed quiet. I needed to wake up recharged and refueled.
Hmm.
So I set those boundaries. Yeah, it's really important to do that.
I
And I
agree with
think,
you 100%.
yeah. And so dream work really isn't about control. With that being said, it's more about invitation, right?
Yep.
So if you wanted to do it, you can before you sleep, ground your body, set your clear boundaries, invite only aligned contact. So only who you really want to come in and visit with you. So for example, when my dad was getting ready to transition and go back home, I said to my master guide, I said, "You're the only one that's allowed to wake me up when this happens." And he did. So like I literally woke up knowing it was about 5 minutes off the time that my dad passed because my guide gave me the heads up first.
Right.
And so one of the things is you can ask a simple question, right?
Yeah. you know, and journaling isn't about overanalysis. Can we just say that, please? Journaling
Yeah.
isn't about making stuff up. It's not, fiction. Excuse me. It's not fiction. It is
No.
literally like jotting down your thought processes, giving a little bit here, a little bit there, but don't go cray cray. Same with the
Right.
Google.
Yeah, it's more like tracking, right? And then if spirit sees that you're actually tracking the engagement that they have, they're more likely to engage with you and do it again, right?
For sure. So when do you trust it and when do you pause? Trust experiences that feel calm and complete.
Yeah. And pause when there's fear or pressure or urgency or ego inflation. So spirit isn't going to rush, right?
Right? And that's why I said that one with Ryan felt, the fear, the pressure, even
Yeah.
urgency. All of those were no ego inflation there, but
Yeah.
all those things felt. So spirit never asks you to abandon your humanity. Like,
No.
just doesn't.
No. And it's like I said earlier, Tara, sleeping is sacred. Like
Mm.
sleep is not an escape. It's something that recharges us. But it also allows you to invite people to participate.
Oh yeah, because you're not passive when you're dreaming, and I think sometimes people think because you're still, you're quiet, eyes are closed, you're actually in receptive mode. You're receiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, some dreams are symbolic, some are messages, some are meetings. Some you just don't need to chase them.
And we use that a lot in our conversations, talking about chasing things, because in no, it's true. And
No, I know.
I just wanted to say why we do that. We talk that it's just our way of saying that we don't force things. That spirit doesn't need to have things forced. That usually when force is coming or you're chasing something, it's because you want it that bad, and it's 9 times out of 10 likely that it won't come to fruition because you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Right? You're missing all the signs, all the subtleness. So, they find you when they're ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And that is about what I had for just our dip our toe in the water. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Tara?
No, but if you guys wanted to put some comments in Instagram, or if you are in the Spirit Lounge membership, we'd love to hear about some of your dreams and, how real they felt. Do you think it was spirit contact, or do you think it was like me, just an emotional stab to my heart? Just saying. Just saying.
Oh,
I'm
dear.
not sure why anyone felt that would be a good dream for me, but anyway. No, I'm
Oh,
good.
dear. Okay, well, and on that note, then, sweet dreams, everyone, and we'll meet you beyond the veil.
There you go. We'll see you later. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the wonderfully weird and metaphysical.
If you loved what you heard, don't forget to follow us for more insights and behind the scenes fun.